The Pittsburgh Pirates are likely going to be adding some more prospects to their farm system. The team's farm system could use the help. The Pittsburgh Pirates have only won 2 of their last 13 games since the All-Star break. The team quickly has seen their playoff hopes disappear. Not only that, but they also own the second worst record in the National League. With that being said, the Pittsburgh Pirates are likely to be sellers at the deadline leading up to Wednesday's deadline. The Bucks will definitely look to move as many of their pending free agents as possible and could potentially move some controllable players. Right now, the team will likely entertain deals for outfielders Corey Dickerson, Melky Cabrera, and possibly Starling Marte. Meanwhile, on the pitching side of things, they will look to deal Francisco Liriano, Jordan Lyles, and potentially Felipe Vasquez. The Pittsburgh Pirates will likely be adding some intriguing prospects into their farm system. This is something that the team needs. The Bucs system is pretty bottom heavy. Prospects are in the lower levels right now. And the team just does not look like they have much young talent that could vastly improve this team going forward. Baseball America recently put out their updated MLB farm system rankings. The prospect site breaks down each team system and ranks them from 1 to 30. For a long time, the Pittsburgh Pirates saw themselves in the top 10 on these kinds of lists. Well, according to Baseball America, the team now has the 19th rated farm system in baseball. They know that the team is a strong top 10, but it falls off after. Part of that is because how much young developing talent they have in the lower minors. Still, the team could use a boost in the farm system. The fact is that the Pittsburgh Pirates are never going to spend the money that fans would like them to. The best way for them is to build through the farm system. With the team looking at a potential top 10 pick in next year's draft, it is obvious that they just are not very good. On top of that, there's a lot of uncertainty about Jameson Taillon's future due to his elbow. If there was ever a time for the Pittsburgh Pirates to hit the restart button, now is it. They have a lot of assets that they could use to bring back some legitimate talent. The pending free agents would likely bring in younger, intriguing upside prospects, i.e. Tony Watson for Oneil Cruz and Angel Herman. Meanwhile, players like Vasquez and Marte could get pieces that could help as soon as 2020. Either way, the Bucs need to make a decision on how to operate going forward. Neil Huntington should be very busy selling. Very, very busy over the course of today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, leading up to Wednesday's 4 p.m. trade deadline. It needs to happen. Because as I noted, and as Baseball America's prospect system noted, we do have the 19th rated farm system in all of baseball. And during our playoff seasons, when we were making runs at World Series, we had, consistent waves of talent coming through. And our top 10 is very good. We have that next wave coming, but there is no wave behind that. There is way back, but there's no in-between wave, right? So we have the 2020 wave, 21, and then we don't have it for 22 and 23, but we do have it for 24 and 25. We need that next wave of young talent that is going to come through and going to lead this team to that playoff berth that we, are looking forward to so very much. And again, if there was ever a time for a franchise to hit the restart button, now is the time to do it. Now is the time. If we go out there and stand pat in this market, or God forbid we go out there and buy, it's just going to lead to more seasons, more years of no playoff baseball in Pittsburgh. No World Series in Pittsburgh. This team is never going to spend the money that us fans would like to see them spend. And whether that be because we're in a small market or we have an owner that pinches pennies, that's the truth. It is. We're never going to spend big money. It's never going to happen. And even if Nutting were to sell the team to an owner, to a different ownership group, different owner, it's still not going to happen. The team, we're just not in a market when we're not in a position to go out there and spend the money. So they need the farm system. They need the young talent to consistently come up here and provide solid production at the big league level. It's how small market teams win. And small market teams, they really do have a cyclical nature to them. And if small market teams like the Pirates want to continue to be mediocre and stay like we have, we can stay pat at the deadline or we could buy. But if we want to, begin that downward cycle to get back on the uptick, it has to start now. There's no better time to do it than now. There isn't. And yes, we have some long, tough years ahead of us. But just think about the happiness and the joy that we're going to experience as fans when we get to the top of the mountain. Because I believe 2021, if we make the right moves, and that's a big if we make the right moves, 2021 could be that year where we are on top of the baseball world. I can foresee that. 2019, 2020, I cannot. And if we continue to be mediocre and continue to stay on this course, which we've chosen, with the three heads of Hurdle, Searage, and Huntington, then we're not going to have that 2021 that we all desire. But if we embrace the futility now, if we, go on a rebuild now, because we have the assets to bring in some intriguing pieces that could help as soon as next season. Okay, this isn't going to be a long rebuild. This can be a short rebuild, but it's a rebuild that if we're going to take, and if we're going to win a World Series in the near future, within the next decade, it needs to be done now. We cannot wait around, and we cannot, cater to the average fan. Because guess what? PNC Park is still empty on a night-to-night basis. Nobody shows up. It's sad. But it's the reality that we face, and it's the reality that comes with a mediocre baseball team. And it's going to get worse with embracing the futility. But if you embrace the futility now, you can embrace the success in the playoffs, in the World Series in the future. The cyclical nature of a small market team. Because you're not going to spend the big money to extend the guys that, bring you those World Series titles. Just take a look at the Royals. And World Series champions in 2015, one of the worst teams in baseball at this point. Cyclical nature. We are deciding to stay on a straight line path, and that straight line path is now they're going to get us to the playoffs, and it's now they're going to get us to being terrible. And it's again, the worst possible position you can possibly be in as a sports franchise. Not only for your fans, but for the franchise as a whole. Because you're not bad enough where you're like, okay, it's time to rebuild, it's time to move on. But you're not good enough where you're making playoff runs and making World Series runs. Right? That in-between phase is the worst possible place not only just in baseball, but any sports franchise in general can possibly be. And we've been in that middle. We've been in between for now 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Do we want to continue to be mediocre? Do we want to continue to be run-of-the-mill, if not below run-of-the-mill? We're the second worst team in the National League. Just think that, okay? I understand we have talent on this team, and I'm not denying that. I'm not. And that's why we have the assets to trade those pieces and bring in some really intriguing prospects to get this farm system to being back to a top 10 farm system. Because that is how small market teams win championships, with a farm system that is strong and that will continue to produce talent. Because right now we don't have that. We have a good top 10, but after those top 10 graduate, we don't have it. Now is the time to hit the reset button if we are going to have any hope at all. Any hope of winning a World Series in the future. In the near future, I should say. Yes, it's been far too long since this team has won it all. And it's sad, and it's frustrating, and it's miserable. And the life of a Pirates fan overall is a miserable existence. It is. And I'm not going to sit up here and sugarcoat it and pretend like it's not. But here's the thing. It's a team that I love and that I'm never going to leave. I won't. And if you're listening to this, 40 minutes into the podcast here, and you've been following the season, you're probably not going to leave either. It sucks. And as I said, watching this Pirates team lately is like mowing the lawn in Kansas City on a mid-August afternoon wearing a tuxedo. It's miserable. It is. And at times it's like, what am I even doing? But we love it. We do. And we'll get there. Just have to get through this together as fans. And, move on. Embrace the futility. Embrace it. It sucks to say, but embrace the futility. The Pittsburgh Pirates are currently in a tailspin, playing their worst baseball of the season. With the trade deadline looming, they could look to deal a reliever. This time last year, there was a lot of speculation that the Pittsburgh Pirates would try to acquire controllable reliever Keone Kela. They ended up doing so on the day of trade deadline and put together a dynamic back end of the bullpen. 1 year later, a lot has changed. The Pittsburgh Pirates are having a tough season and have quickly turned it into sellers with a deadline less than a week away. This year, it will be more about who the team will be selling, not buying. One of the biggest issues from the outset of the Pittsburgh Pirates was Keone Kela. He was supposed to be a lockdown eighth-inning reliever, but instead he got hit around hard and as he tried to pitch through an injury. The Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen missed a healthy and effective Kela for a large portion of the season. Now, a year later, there are reports that the Pittsburgh Pirates may look to trade the former Texas Ranger. This is not really all that surprising. Things have seemed weird since the Pittsburgh Pirates acquired him. He took multiple days to report to the team after the trade and then was shut down in September. This year, Kela came into spring and it still seemed to battle a lingering injury. He tried to work through it, but he saw himself getting hit around pretty hard. Also, the team wanted him to start throwing his changeup more, which he apparently was against. Then upon his return to the team, it was announced that he was suspended for 2 games due to some sort of disagreement. Well, yesterday, Ken Rosenthal wrote that the Bucs could look to trade Kela. Here's what Rosenthal wrote in his latest article on The Athletic. Quote, "The Pirates are more than willing to move reliever Keone Kela, who will return on Wednesday from a 2-game suspension for unspecified violations of his contract. Prior to that, Kela had been on the injured list with right shoulder discomfort." End quote. It has been a very rocky relationship with Kela and the Pittsburgh Pirates, and this likely could be why the team is looking to trade him. If not that, then the team is just trying to trade a veteran reliever to get players, prospects that can maybe as soon as next year help out. And Keone Kela he's interesting, right? He is. And this time last year, we were discussing, we're going to go out there, we're going to get Keone Kela. It's exciting. But a lot has changed. A lot has changed from this time last year to where we are at, sitting right here on July 27th, 2019. If you're listening live or on Saturday, right? So a lot has changed. A lot. And it's been a rocky relationship with Keone Kela. He took several days to report to the team after being traded, and it was kind of weird. But it was like, okay, let's see what we got here. And, he was pitching very good for the Pirates. Shut down in September due to injury. Like, okay, we'll see what we have in 2020. Probably not going to win anything anyway because we had a bad August. So, we move into 2019, and, we see what we have with Kela, and we're like, okay, it's going to be a pretty good back end of the bullpen. You have Kela Vasquez. I mean, really good, right? We get into the 2019 season, he starts getting hit hard. Still battling through that injury. Ends up on the injury list, spends from May 4th to whatever it was, Monday, on the injury list. And he comes back, and it's like, okay, we'll see what we have from him. Maybe we can make a little run. We get him back on Monday, and then we find out he's suspended. Like, okay. Well, his suspension cost us the game on Monday, because we wouldn't have pitched Clay Holmes in that 10th inning. We would have pitched Keone Kela. And, it was reportedly because of a disagreement, and, apparently he blew up on a clubhouse staffer. So whether this trade, and this trade, again, could be for 2 reasons if they move him. It could be because, hey, it's been a rocky, weird, strange relationship, and it would be best to just move on from him, not have that clubhouse cancer, so to speak. Or it could just be because, okay, he's a pretty solid veteran reliever, still has a little bit of control with him, and he's good. And we can get some players, prospects that can help out as soon as next year in our hopes to win that World Series in 2021. But I personally think it is time to trade him. It is, because, again, you cannot have that clubhouse cancer on a young team and on a team that isn't going to be winning anything for the next 2 seasons either way. You might as well have guys that get along, that are good people. And Keone Kela, he has media objections too. So it's been strange. And he's a strange guy. He is. He's different. And you can look at those differences in multiple ways. But, it's a difference that, it may scare us. It may, throw us for a loop. And it's definitely thrown the Pirates and the media for a loop. But for whatever reason it may be, I just don't think it's good to have him on this team. And we can get a decent haul for him as well. Controllable reliever that has experience with 25 saves with the Texas Rangers last year. I think we have